Boubacar Kamara is already sound Ralf Ragnick. He can give Manchester United what they need. Michael Carrick had already refuted the claims, but Gary Neville was having none of it. With 8 minutes to go until the start of Manchester United's 1-1 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last month, Neville, not part of Sky Sport Super Sunday coverage today, tweeted, "A lot of people having a go at Michael Carrick for dropping Ronaldo and picking that MDF. I have a feeling the incoming manager has picked that team as it's a huge departure from midweek and what they have been doing." Neville was referencing Cristiano Ronaldo's absence from the starting lineup, a decision that left United fans chose to drop it, and a pending arrival of interim manager Ralf Ragnick. The Reds were up against Thomas Tuchel from loose and they needed all the help they could get. Ronaldo's omissions was a huge surprise, but in Neville's eyes, it suggested that Carrick had another voice whispering in his ear. However, it did not cause United to trailing, with Jadon Sancho's forcefully goal fearing them into a 1-0 lead before Jorginho restored parity from the penalty spot. It was 2 points robbed from winning positions, but it was still a good result in the circumstance. It was, however, the day that United overran the first hint that a culture change after life under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was spewing, with them pressing from the front and looking to force the oppositions into mistakes. Admittedly, it wasn't quite perfect, but it was a step in the right directions. Fast forward a week and United, after just a matter of days under Ragnick's teaching, looked like they had been practicing it for hours and hours on repeat. They were pressing resourceless players like their lives depended on it. They were gazing down every lost cause, applying pressure to every man in yellow and hoping to win the ball back as soon as they had lost it. If you had not seen United decisions up until that point, you could have been forgiven for thinking they'd been doing it all season. That's how impressive it was. Rangnick, who is renowned for wanting his teams to work hard and put pressure on opponents, will have been left purring at what he was seeing. To take that level of intensity up another gear at Old Trafford, it is going to require Rangnick to be lower to bring in his own players that fit the system and style. As reported by the Manchester Evening News late this week, the club is prepared to back Rangnick in the January transfer window and bring in a holding midfield player to slot into one of the two number 6 positions in United's new look 4-2-2-2-2 system. A defensive-minded midfielder squad United have been crying out for a considerable amount of time. The club wanted to drop one in last summer, but big money additions elsewhere meant that plan was placed on hold. United thought are now prepared to restart the engine in regards to that pursuit. Our Leipzig midfielder Amado Haidara is of interest to the club, whilst long-term target Declan Rice remains their primary target. But considering Ragnick is now in the process of transforming United's style of play and the overall philosophy of the club, the Reds, for monetary value, may not find anyone better suited than Martial youngster Boubacar Kamara. The 22-year-old has been making all the right noises in France and is considered as one of the most exciting and gifted players of his generation in the holding midfield role. Ralf Rangnick is now in Manchester United hot seat after the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and from his speaking up, he is renowned for his passing game and ball retentions, meaning he will be perfect for Ragnick's style of play and what he is trying to implement at Old Trafford. He is often Martial's deepest lying midfielder, responsible for stopping opposition stack and then instigating Martial's outward forward force, with him more than capable of producing a slick pass or demonstrating clever footwork to get himself and the team out of danger. As per WhoScored.com, statistics highlight just how influential Kamara is when deployed in a holding midfield role in League One decisions, the Frenchman who is yet to earn a senior cap for his country. has completed 1.4 tackles per game, whilst he has averaged 1.8 tackles per game in 5 UEFA Europe League appearances. His passing figures still make for impressive reading. He has averaged an 89.8% pass success rate in League One and 93.8% pass success rate in the Europe League. As well as that, a study by Statsbomb back in June found that he was one of just 10 under-23 midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues to rank in the top 25% for ball winning and ball retentions. For a player of 22 years old to be performing to such a high standard on a regular basis, Kamara has no shortage of potential within his locker, and he has attracted interest from the Premier League in the past. A lot of United supporters have been keeping an eye on him as well, with a lot of them suggesting that he will be ideal. Furthermore, he is out of contract at the end of the season, meaning United could land him in a cut price deal in January, or possibly for free next summer. And with a drawback of any approach for Haidara being his potential like the absence while on African Cup of Nations, duty with Mali, now might be the perfect time to let Kamara and solve a long-term problem.